All right, here's a lesson on Desperado by the Eagles. So we got this cool little intro we're going to do. Okay, so our first thing is we got the bottom three strings. We got open, open, and 7 on the bottom. To the 10, back to that little 7. So, and then the chord with the 12, 10, 7, 3 after that 12 with the chord. So, and then C chord. That's open 3 open on the small string there after you do the little C chord. And then we have like a C minor chord, 5, 4, 3 down here, but we're gonna have a 5 on the bottom. Little leading melody thing there. So we got, and see how even though I'm strumming that as a chord, I'm making sure that the little one is kind of louder because that's the accent you want. That's the leading melody that you want to hear. And then one more note on that one, back to the top thing. Then we're going to come down to an E minor, 2 and opens, to the 3 on the second string, open. So we got, we might hit one more of those, a little bit of time before the Desperado thing hits. So then it starts out with the singing, Desperado. 2 strums each, G to G7, and then C to C minor, 5, 5, 4, 3. And then we're going to do this G shape like this. If you want to do this walking thing, this is how you do it. So that's like a G, 5, 4, 3, 3, like an F shape. Do that once and go to this D. It's like the 2, 3, 2 down here, but it has that 4 on top. So that's D with the F sharp bass. So G, D with the F sharp bass, E minor 7 is 2, 0, 3 open. Do that twice, and then A7, 2, 0, 2 open, D7, 0, 2, 1, 2. So let's look at all that from the singing. So Desperado, G to G7, C to C minor. And then we got that walking thing. A7 to D7. Now, if you don't want to do all of this stuff, you could just go G and then put this 4 up in here with that G and maybe even mute that G string so you don't get a big tension right there. G, then with an F sharp bass, you still got that moving kind of thing. And if you don't want to do this E minor 7, you can just do E minor too. So a couple ways you could do that. Next line of singing, we got G to G7 again, C to C minor. Now this time we're going to have G to B7, 1, 2, 0, 2, E minor 7 again, twice, and then A7, D7 again. But that's going to be just once each, so A7, D7, G. 2 G's to that D with the F sharp bass. Okay, so let's look at everything we got so far. Desperado. A couple of different ways to do this. G to G7 again. C, C minor. This time G to B7 to E minor 7. Now our next part is going to be E minor to B minor, 4, 4, 3, 2, and then C to G, E minor 7 to C, and then G to that D with the F sharp bass. And if you have trouble with that one, you can always just do a D and don't worry about that extra bass thing. So the second part of this is E minor to B minor again, C to G, E minor, A7, and then A minor 7. We're going to go 2, 0, 1, 3. And then D to D7. Desperado. Sets that up again. And you could go easy with this. Just kind of G to E minor. Not worry about that. So there's simpler ways and there's a little bit more moving ways. More stuff going on. C to C minor, G to B7, E minor 7, and once each on these, twice on these, back to E minor, B minor, C to G, E minor to C, G to D. So that could have that F sharp, but you know, it's up to you. E minor to B minor, C to G. And then we got that A minor 7. D to D7, back to Desperado. G to G7 again. C to C minor. G to B7. Now we can have C to G to A minor 7. That's where it's kind of that answer back thing. Let somebody love you. And then A minor 7, D7, and then we're going to have our outro. So let's look at that whole last little bit. Once we hit the G to G7 for the second time through on that kind of part. G, B7, E minor. And the answer to that is C to G to A minor 7, 2, 0, 1, 3. And then you get the G, B7, E minor again. Hold that one. Then we're going to have that A minor 7, D7, and then we have the outro. So it's a little shorter than the intro. We have the 7 and 10 to 12, 10, 7, 3, and C chord. Open 3, open to that little C minor, and then G.